Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the I Love Snow Para Real Talk Show. I'm Nick Baumgartner, five-time Olympic snowboarder, and I will be your host today. Joining me today, I have one of my very good friends, three-time Paralympic athlete and three-time medalist, Mike Schultz. How are we doing, Mike?
Hey, what's up, Nick? Check this out. Check this out.
Look at that.
Cortina, Italy. Not a bad backdrop anywhere.
Yeah, it's not bad. Hey, the perks of our job is to travel to some amazing places and get to see some backdrops like this while we're competing and chasing our dreams. Not bad.
Yeah, sometimes I get distracted when I'm flying down the mountain on the race course. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the office looks good today.
Yes. We have a nice office, the both of us, for our work, for sure.
All right, so Mike, let's get to talking about the competition here at the 2026 Paralympics here in Cortina. So I want to talk about first the course. Obviously, people want to know what the course is like, how it's running, what the conditions are like. So let's jump into that.
Yeah, right on. First of all, man, thank you so much for being here at the Paralympics with us, cheering us on. I mean, you're definitely getting the crowd riled up. So it's much appreciated by me and everybody else here. So thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, the first thing on my mind as far as the race course is the weather. Man, we're blessed with 50-degree weather here, 50-degree Fahrenheit weather here. It's just awesome. The race course is, not too technical, but it made for some really good, fun, close racing down that straight section with the rollers where that first picture was showing. And there was a lot of late race passes going in the last two turns. So it was fun.
Yeah. So what I saw as a spectator is I saw the draft coming down that big downhill into that straightaway. And it seemed like it was tough because I seen you had a lead at one point and just someone used that draft that you created and kind of took that speed from you. And
I know. I plowed the road for him, right? It was so it wasn't a real technical roller section. They were so big, so you couldn't generate speed on them. So you just had to try and be as flat as possible. And the guys that could tuck into that draft could definitely make up some time. And I was able to do that in my quarterfinal run to Noah Elliott, and I blitzed by him. And in the semifinal, Chris Voss in the small final, Chris Voss was able to draft me and sneak by right before the finish line by like that much.
It's funny because it's frustrating when it happens to you, but it's also amazing when you're able to use that draft to pass by somebody. So it's kind of a little give and take there for sure.
Yeah, and with our courses traditionally on the World Cup Tour, we don't have long straightaways like that. So we don't really get a lot of experience, playing with the draft. And so this was kind of the first one that it was really very visible and usable. So it was pretty fun.
Well, I love it. It's a fun thing because it allows you to show that experience and that racecraft. Well, another thing that I want to talk to you about is, so you're racing these guys, but you built a lot of the legs that these other athletes are using. And what's that dynamic like that you're building the parts to help them do the best they can so maybe they can beat you? I mean, it's kind of a crazy dynamic. And I think it shows just how amazing of a person that you are, Mike. And I love that.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it is a unique situation that I'm in. I mean, building the prosthetics with my company BioAdapt is the reason I'm in snowboarding right now. And I have been for 12 years with the U.S. Paralympic team. And originally built the equipment for motorsports, dirt bikes and snowmobiles, because that's where my professional career started. And then opened up into Paralympic snowboarding. And yeah, it's pretty awesome, playing a crucial part in the elevation or progression of para snowboard through the prosthetic equipment. And yeah, the athlete in me, sometimes questions why I'm helping out my competitors go faster. Doesn't always pan out good for me as the athlete, but I'm a big picture thinker, and winning a medal is freaking awesome. As it's incredible. But when you can do something that helps elevate others around you, it goes a lot deeper and lasts a lot longer. And I'm so proud to be part of it. And at the games this year, there's nearly 30 athletes that are competing on our BioAdapt equipment. It's a small company. It's just my wife, Sarah, and I, and we have one part-time business manager. And so my hands are building every component that these athletes are using. And so I'm a busy guy when I get home after being on the road for weeks on end. I'm building legs.
Yeah, well, I love it. I love it. It's great. It's just great to see how something happened in your life, and it goes to a lesson that I always talk about. You can either believe the excuses or you can find a way to make it happen. Well, not only did you find a way to make it happen to continue to compete, but you've given that gift to so many others. And man, kudos to you for that. That's so awesome.
Yeah, thank you. And it also gives me a really good reason to stay involved in all these fun sports. You know, I'm my own R&D. I'm my own test pilot. So I get to keep playing, and it's technically work.
Yeah. Well, and also now I want to talk about, so the 2022 Olympics were a little bit different. The energy wasn't quite there because of COVID and no one was allowed to come. Wow. Did I see a difference today when I was on that crest watching? I got to sit with your family, and how cool is that to have all of them there, and for me to be able to cheer with them and to see firsthand what my favorite part of me competing is. I know that my kid doesn't necessarily listen to everything that I tell him, but I know he's watching me, and this gives you an opportunity to teach some amazing lessons to your daughter, and to have her there, and to have your family there cheering for you. What is that like?
It's awesome, because we typically on our World Cup tour, you know, our family usually doesn't travel with us. So they don't get to see us race very often at all. Obviously in Beijing, we would have loved to have everybody there cheering us on, but we couldn't. And so here we are in Cortina, one of the most beautiful places on earth. And we've got a lot of good momentum with the Paralympic movement, and, you know, people are interested in it. And there's a lot of fans here cheering us on. And as athletes, as you know, there's nothing like coming down the race course and you hear everybody just screaming and hollering for you, cheering you on. It just gives you so much energy, and so glad that, you know, we are here and are able to experience it and have our families here. My daughter, she was digging it. She's never really seen me race snowboards before in a place like this or an event like this. So it was really special. I don't think she'll ever forget it.
Well, I was there standing with them, and I promise you she will never forget that. And just to see them screaming for you was pretty awesome. Okay, so today, the lower limb, the women's LL, Cecile Hernandez from France was dominating and doing well. But our girl, Kate Delson, was closing that gap. And I was, oh, come on, girl. You got this. Stay in that draft. Stay in that draft. Again, trying to lose my voice. But how does that – is that something you see a lot in these races where someone's dominant like that, and then not all the courses? You're saying this is the first one that you've been able to have that drafting ability. Do you like that? I mean, I think it's amazing to have that ability to give that draft speed to let someone try to catch back up.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, as a border crosser, like anything can happen. You know, depending on the course and how the heats work out and how the head-to-head racing goes on. This course was different than typical for us, so we were learning on the fly, and there was a lot of last-minute changes through training, and the course they built for us was, you know, quite a bit different than the one we first got to test on, and we had very few laps on it, so we were all trying to kind of figure it out strategy-wise and what lines work and what doesn't. But man, as you know, that image of Cecile, you know, I watched her come across the finish line, and she just, you know, dropped to her back, and just, you know, just those emotions. You know, winning a gold medal at the Paralympic Games or the Olympic Games is such a powerful thing. I mean, you know it, I know it, and there's very few other athletes that know what that feels like, and that's what that explains right there. And man, we were cheering on Kate. You know, she's had a heck of a season this year on the World Cup tour, and Brenna Huckabee as well. She didn't make it to the big final, but she was top qualifier yesterday. So you know, the team atmosphere with Team USA is incredible, man. I love traveling the world with these incredible people, and I'm going to miss that a lot after this year. But man, it's the second family, right? Yeah. And we, you know, it's a roller coaster, ups and downs. Everybody wins together, everybody loses together.
Well, and I think in that race that you saw Kate trying to make that time up, you see the young gun trying to dethrone the older athlete, which is inevitable. It's going to happen. Father Time's undefeated. So that's coming. And it's just awesome to see that play out in real time. And for a young kid to have the success that Cade had today, man, that's so cool.
Yeah. First Paralympics, bringing home a silver medal. That's pretty rad.
So sick. I love it. Okay, let's talk about the men's UL. I don't know how to pronounce Aaron's last name from Switzerland, but he prevented the Chinese podium sweep.
Yeah.
That's got to feel so cool to stop that, right?
Yes.
Because every team is looking for that podium sweep. And if you can disrupt that, good on you.
Yeah. The UL class is, they're dealing with upper limb deficiencies, and so their gate pull is a little bit slower than most. But I tell you what, those guys are flying, and they're able to run down the course as fast as anybody. And there's a lot of good tight racing there.
Yeah, well, and I saw, like what you said, their legs, they're doing moves. I'm like, yeah, I know that move. I've seen that, and I was like, wow, it's quite impressive, right? I can see them getting a little off balance and having to work and use other things to compensate for that. And for me as an athlete that does this sport, it's cool to see how they have to adapt and change things to be able to be successful in the sport.
Yeah, some of them are pulling out one hand. So, you just imagine pulling yourself out of the gate with one arm and not, get twisted up as you exit. And some use prosthetics to help latch on to the handle, and they get a pretty solid pull. But it's incredible. That's what's one of the coolest things about the Paralympic snowboarding is, and all the other sports, is the adaptive equipment, as well as how each athlete adapts in their own way to be able to do this sport at the highest level.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to the men's LL2, and a name that I'm very familiar with, a kid that I raced with for many years at a couple Olympics, Emmanuel Paratoner. He's got a fast start. He looks great on his snowboard. I can definitely see the difference from when I used to work with him and race with him. His range isn't there. There's things that I can definitely tell are much different, but man, it's cool to see that experience. But I would imagine some of the other athletes are probably like, well, he's got so much experience on us, and they probably, it's kind of a bummer to them.
Yeah, absolutely. He so in his case, he's got a knee replacement, and his range of motion is significantly reduced. So he's got like 60 degrees range of motion in his knee, which obviously the more range, the better, as trying to pump through rollers and absorb features and that kind of thing. But yeah, even with that challenge he's riding with, like, you can't replace that experience racing at the top level. Exactly. The way he chooses his lines down the course and how he's able to control his edges through turns and, have the super smooth glide. It's impressive. I'm watching, I'm comparing videos and I'm trying to learn stuff from him. Like, he doesn't look super dynamic, but he just goes fast. And I'm trying to pick it apart. And it's just like, man, it's just years and years of experience with the best of the best.
And that's what it takes. That's the one thing about snowboard cross that is different than any other sport I've ever been in, is you could have all the talent in the world and you could be set up to win, and you don't do it for a long time because you are forced to put in those miles. And if you don't put in those miles, it's not going to happen. And I see where some athletes are like, well, this, that. And I'm like, dude, all he did is he put more time in. Obviously he was able-bodied in this sport first, and then he switched over after his bad injury and his knee replacement, but can't hold that against him because the guy put some time in, right?
Yeah. He's got the skills, man.
All right, Mike. Well, let's talk about yours. You made it to the small final and we know what you wanted. We obviously do. We know what you were there. I was with your family. They were bummed that you didn't make it to the final, but still just as excited to cheer you on in that small final. And man, awesome to see you just look at that. There it is, right? Yeah. You had it. You had this huge lead, and then he was able to use that draft speed that we both love. Because I was joking with your family. I was like, wait, when he comes down, I was hoping you were going to be in second. And I was like, he's going to be shoveling in coal. Here comes the freight train. And it didn't work out that way. And sometimes that's how it goes. But for me, it's all about, I don't ever try to set myself up and behind, even if there's a draft spot. because I can't live. If I slow down and then I can't catch back up, I can't live with that, right? But if I go as hard as I can and do everything in my power to win, and then I fall short, I can live with that every time.
Yeah. It's hard to make up time unless the situation is perfect with the draft and that kind of thing. I in the small final, I got a great start, and coming through like turn 2 and 3, I kind of peek over my shoulder. I'm like, yeah, nobody's right there. I'm like, hell yeah, I've got a heck of a lead. And coming through those rollers, I got some info from the coaches saying they just salted the left side of the roller pack. So they like, that should be a little quicker over there. So I come down the waterfall or the downhill jump. And so I kind of drifted over to the left a little more than I wanted to, but I didn't want to edge to correct my direction because I just wanted to stay as flat as possible. And then all of a sudden into turn 6 and 7, he's like, I'm behind you. I'm coming up. I'm on your inside. And all of a sudden, bam, he hits the back of my board. I'm like, what the? It surprised the hell out of me. I thought there was more gap there. And then he just had more momentum. And I pumped those last 4 rollers as hard as I could. And he just had a little more momentum going. And yeah, it was a photo finish. Yeah. Within like 10 inches or something. So,
yeah. Well, I got to come clean on this one. I was the one calling attention to the salt on the left side of the track. But we also knew that it takes time for salt to activate. So we weren't sure if it was going to work for your heat, but for the next heat, we figured it would definitely work. But yeah, you definitely drifted over quite a bit. And I was like, oh, I don't know if that far. But,
yeah, I wasn't planning on drifting over that far, but I'm just trying to keep flat, and it just I didn't want to edge it. I just let it run, and that's where I ended up. And
especially and I get that, because especially in this snow when it starts to soften up, if you start edging, it really makes a difference when it's not ice.
Yeah, that's what happened in my semifinal when I was I had a good draft behind Ty Turner and Noah Elliott, my teammate, and I just, I wasn't patient enough, and I veered out to his left or his backside a little too quick, and I got into some slough, and I edged to try and get back into the race line, and it just killed so much speed, and I couldn't get it back. So it's just such tiny little mistakes make such a big difference.
Well, anytime you get to that highest level, right, you're splitting hairs, and it comes down to these who can make either no mistakes or the smallest mistakes. But yeah, Noah Elliott, man, he had a great day today. Proud of him. That was cool.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're all cheering. I was by your family. We're cheering for you. But it's also like, how do we get them both to go? To go. We don't want one to pass the other. But it was awesome to see and to have someone on the podium. I'm sure you're stoked about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If not me, he's the next best. We've been teammates since 2017. And I watched that kid grow up from I think he was 18 years old, 17 years old when I first met him. And 12 years later, here we are. I knew from the first time I saw him ride a snowboard, I'm like, just a matter of time before this kid knocks me off the top. But yeah, me and him are such good buddies, and I build his legs for him, obviously. And we're always working together to try and go faster. And the camaraderie is just amazing. And he's got some years left on him, and he's going to do big things. So we're all super proud of him.
I think that surprises a lot of people when I talk to about it. Like, I room with my competitor. I'm out there mentoring my competitor, trying to give him the information that he needs to dethrone me. And it's like, but I know that if I can push him to get better, then he's going to come back better, and it's going to force me to keep elevating, because if I don't have those young kids pushing me, I can't perform at this level. I need those kids to do that. And the best way to do that is to help them raise the bar a little bit. Right.
Yep. What do they say? Higher tides raise all ships.
Yeah, I like it.
Is that
I have no idea.
What I mean? We all elevate at the same level if we work together. That's what our coaches say. So it's
and for us, team effort. We learned a long time ago that in order to get everyone to that position where we all are a threat at the podium, we can't just be focusing on one athlete. We need to work together to get everyone to that highest level. Okay, so I got to talk about this. Obviously, I have a mustache. Obviously, it's pretty awesome. And
it is.
Every November, I grow this for Men's Health. to bring awareness to men's health. And this year I was like, you know what?
I thought you did it just to look like a boss, Nick.
Well, it's that too, you know. Well, and the only thing, if you want to get faster in anything.
Oh, we just lost you. Did we get cut off?
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like
I started doing proppy.
hot. Drop it like it's hot.
I'm still here. All right. Well, yep. The mustache. Okay. I'll finish that up. Yeah. That our whole team, our Paris snowboard team is like, yeah, we're gonna do mustaches. So, I mean, obviously Nick motivated some of us. Yeah. I mean, that thing is boss, but, anyways, yes, Cortina has been amazing so far. And, we got a couple days off, before we head into our next event, bank slalom. Which is next Saturday. Training is on Friday, and we hit the bank slalom course on Saturday. So it's been fun, and thank you, Nick. You disappeared on me, but yeah, thank you for watching, and tune in to the Paralympics. It's going to be great.
When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.